Jackin Around, Jack Ingram and Waylon Payne. Welcome.
It's badass. Does that happen every time you pull that trigger?
Sometimes it's a little more magical than others.
Really? I'm gonna need to get one of those guns. My life has been horrible at times, but so have a lot of other people's. I just choose to use my memories and experiences, and as I sort through them, try to help pass along what I learned. That's about it. I've never talked about the stuff that I'm talking about as I get ready for this record to come out. Thank God I am. I mean, thank God I have the ability. Maybe it needs to be talked about once. That's right. I mean, I don't joke when I call country royalty a real thing. I am born into it.
Did they have a long relationship? Or was it just kind of...
Oh, God. Well,
sorry, man.
No, it's good. This is good. She and...
So this
they
is
got
this
married.
is for you. This is
yeah,
all for you.
So great. They got married in I guess 71. Jody and Sammy, and and when they had me, Jody's wife had a problem with it.
Ex-wife?
No, he never got divorced from his wife. So Mom and his marriage wasn't really legal, and they had it.
So we're building this thing on the rock.
Yep. They had, but they didn't see each other again for a long time. Well, it's weird because there are TV shows where like Willie will do a show with Sammy, and
right.
Sammy will open the show, and she's doing her thing, and Willie and Mama are like all over each other singing, and
I think I've seen some of those.
Yeah, and then Willie comes on with, and there's Jody over there in the corner, like going, and here's Mom over sitting on Mickey's lap, flirting with everybody, and it was really uncomfortable. But they never were together again. She was beautiful. I never heard anybody sing like her in my life. And it's not just because I was her kid. Maybe it was. But she just was a different soul. And she didn't know how to deal with me, I don't think. And she put me where she thought I would be safe because she had work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But Daddy was not an option.
And when you hooked up with Jody, was it on tour bus or was it on?
He came to Frisco. I wrote him a letter. This was how cool Jody was. I wrote a letter. He got it on a Thursday, I think, and was in Frisco from Alabama Friday afternoon. And he was not at all what I was expecting. But we started hanging out, and I kind of was like, well, okay, if this is my dad, well, then I must try to get to know him. But it just was not something that ever came easy. We bonded over cocaine and booze and speed and music. That's just what his deal was. When I had my coming out experience, if you will, it kind of happened in some family drama. Her brother had been pulling some shit with me for years, and when it all came out at a counseling session at my Baptist college, the family called me a liar and threw me out. And he went on to be a deacon, somewhere in a different town. And,
really?
Yeah. And my mom, for a good period of time, for about 4 or 5 years, was like, you can't, we don't want anything to do with you. And if you come to my house, my husband he'll shoot you on sight.
Good Lord.
It's kind of hard to hear from your mom.
Especially one that you...
Well,
you idolized so much.
She was a darling, but there was a lot of torture in her life too.
You were going to be a preacher.
Well, yeah.
This podcast might be about 3-4 hours.
It's a long, twisted story, and a lot of it's fucked up and weird, but it's all true.
Yeah.
I ended up having an affair with a monk up the street at the Catholic college. I know this doesn't sound healthy, but
let me write that down.
And they caught me. The school. It was a long story. There was closed circuit TV in the place where we hung out, and they got back to the Oklahoma Baptist. They flipped out. I was a hooker for a while during there, because I could make money. It was just a weird transition. It was crazy. It was weird. But I mean, I made peace with it, or I don't know. I mean, I had been doing it for years. I was kind of disappointed in the choice of selection, if you will. I was like, this certainly isn't like I thought it would be. Nothing ever was, you know. You're looking for Mark Wright. He's waiting for you. Mark Wright.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what I said to him. I was like, I'm Sammy Smith's son. I want to be a singer. We talked for a minute or two, and he's like, I think I want you to step next door and meet my partner. I think he'll be able to help you. And so I did, and it was Frank. Now, Frank says that I came into his office and
I can't wait to hear this.
Told him that I wanted to be the first openly gay country singer in country music. And that was our first introduction. And we started hanging out, me and Frank. I start hanging with Shelby. We did some demos. I took them back to Mark Wright and Frank. Didn't work. No. And one of them was called "Let Me Love You Like a Man." I mean, it was really not a.
Swinging for the fences.
I start working for her, singing harmony in her band for this record, this new I Am Shelby Lynn record. I got fired in California because I was drinking. I didn't have any money to get home, and so started staying on some friends' couches. And slowly just kind of started trying to figure out what I wanted to do in California. And wasn't too long after that, I was driving down the road and I was stopped at a red light and I looked over and there was Keith Gaddis. Hey man, what are you doing? And that clicked something special.
Was that record your first big batch of songs?
Oh yeah. It was my first batch of songs that I wrote by myself. Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
I've been co-writing with some other folks, but these were my thoughts and my things. This new record, there's nothing that was a beautiful thing about that was it's all live from the floor.
Well, I've heard different versions of these songs though too.
Well, you've heard this record for the past 10 years.
Right.
Now you heard the first versions I did down in Austin. I've done 2 versions of this album.
Right.
The first version was what I did with Matt Hubbard over at Willie's studio. I took that record to Frank and he was like, this is really, really great, but I want to make it better. And
did he say kind of what I'm saying? Like
no, the one that he heard, the songs are all there. They're exactly the way that they were recorded on the Texas one. There are a few that aren't on there because I had a few different ideas and things, but Frank loved it. He just wanted it sonically.
The musician.
He wanted it to be better musicians, better. It's like when Loretta Lynn went in and sang Honky Tonk Girl for the first time and they stopped the session and the guy goes, I don't need more pickers, I need better pickers. You know, Frank's been solid as a rock for 25 years in my life.
Which might be the first time I've ever heard anybody say those words about Frank.
He's good shit, you know?
He's great. He's one of the only guys in town that I've ever, over the course of 20 years, 25 years, if I don't trust any opinion, I'll give a song or a record or whatever to Frank and go, okay, man, what do you think? And he'll come back and go, hey, man.
What you want from him is to have him come back going, hey, man.
This fired me up. I'm fired up.
Yeah, fired up, man.
But he always gives really good advice. And you can trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Gaddis. Like, they might not give you the accolades or the flowery language that you want, but they're going to go, hey, this could be better.
Mm-hmm.
I sent Frank a record and he goes, hey, man, why don't you just scrap this and go do something great while nobody's watching?
Yeah.
And I go, oh, 10-4, good buddy.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, man, I don't know what this is, but
thanks,
it's been
pal.
fun talking with you.
It's been fun talking to you, too. I'm going to go to the restroom now. And 3, 2, 1. Hey, come on, do it. What happened?
I blew that load.